Hey, welcome back to Wook Plus. I'm Weekend Wook, joined by Kev and Mr. Scott Marks, Biz Archive. What's up, Scott? What's up, Kev? How you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. It's funny. I haven't been paying attention to shit for like a week, and in the 5 minutes talking to you guys in the green room, it was like all the headlines hitting me. I was like, so much to talk about. Trey sitting in with Dave. We got Phish is back. There's a lot of things going on, but I'm good. I'm happy. I'm hanging in there.
Fish is
You know what? I
needed right
love
now.
Fish Eve or Fish Day. Seeing live music, even if it's couch tour, is always a good time. It lifts your spirits, you know.
This is fun doing this right leading into the show.
Yeah, this show, the lot specifically doing the pregame is my favorite for sure. A lot of history with it too.
I'm just glad to have a working camera this time. Those who remember the last time I was on here, I was behind a black box and spent a good 40 minutes with Kev trying to figure this out Monday night. And then Llama comes on and is like, "Oh, you got a little switch on the top of your laptop?" And I'm like, yeah. 2 seconds later, the camera's working. And when you're Googling all your answers and like the new drivers, turn your computer off 5 times. They don't say anything about, "Hey, idiot, there's a little black switch at the top of your laptop. Try that." So, yeah,
it's fun.
And that's probably IT 101 there is check that, like make sure it's plugged in, make sure the camera isn't blocked.
Hey, Scott, we haven't talked since New Year's, right? We talked to you right before New Year's, I think, but I want to get your take. I mean, we're going to be all over the place tonight, and I know Kev has some things he wants to talk about, but I'm curious now, especially since everybody's had a chance to like process it and everything, and also just I don't know your take at all. What did you think about New Year's Eve, like specifically the festivities, the gag, and the music surrounding, Pillow Jets and what's the song? Mine.
What's going through your mind?
Or whatever.
What's going through your mind? Am I muted?
No, you're there.
Okay. What's going through your mind was the other song.
Yeah.
So the Pillow Jets I enjoyed. I thought the artistic stuff was fantastic. For me, I didn't, and you'll talk to 10 people and you get 10 different answers. I didn't particularly care for what's going through your mind. I think it's a
DJ breakdown.
It's a bold thing what they did, and I give the band and everyone involved a lot of credit. I don't know if I'm having like, you want to call it the EDM thing, like the biscuits. I want the lights going in like 50,000 directions, and maybe not the dancers or improvised things added in there. Even though it was like quotes of other songs, so it was different. And while Phish hasn't really done EDM stuff before, there are a couple of I'm trying to think. There are a few songs that can. I always wanted it that way, as a faster paced. But even then, it's not really.
Or most events aren't planned.
Yeah,
like
some
Vita Blue songs tended to fall in that.
Yeah.
If anything, I could see those falling in there as the closest to in the Phish canon. But it was just not something and first of all, like when you have Gamehenge, the bar is set incredibly high. Like you're probably not going to top that from the year before.
I think everybody knew that too. I don't even think that was.
They
were like, "Oh, we're not going to stop that."
What they did was perfect though for that moment because they aren't. So they went with something completely different, and and I feel like walking in with no expectations myself, it really hit home. Like, wow, okay, it made Pillow Jets make sense. Getting the backstory about the masks and all that, I was like,
I love that part of it for sure.
Like for me, a lot of people, it was a polarizing experience in the Phish community. A lot of people liked it, and some people didn't like it. I'm not going to go out there after a show and say, I didn't care for this, and not that that was the case, but like if you're having a bad time at the show, which I wasn't, but no one wants to really know that.
Right.
So
Yeah.
a while ago,
Unless you're on Wook Plus, we shit on stuff all the time, and people seem to be all right with it. So, but I get what you mean. Like after a show, you don't want to be like messing people's vibe. If they had a good time, you don't want to neg it down to be like, oh, how dare you have a good time?
Right. And I mean, I don't want people to do that to me either.
Right. Exactly.
So
I don't either.
There are certain things that fit better for some people versus others. Some people didn't like Petrichor. Some people didn't like the Sci-Fi Soldier set. And sometimes you have to be there to experience it, and sometimes you don't. And everyone's gonna have a different opinion regarding what they like and what they don't like.
Yeah.
I thought the samples were a really a brilliant little flourish to it. Them going through and putting that, and I think that also tells me that they probably aren't going to do this going forward. We aren't going to see this kind of 10-minute Disco Biscuitsy transfusion thing in the future, because they did put the work in it to do the samples.
Yeah, well, it has to be pre-planned and pre-programmed, right? That's not really something they can do super organically.
Page had Ableton. I think Page had a computer up there. I think he had Ableton set up or something, because at points he wasn't playing, and he was doing. I think he was setting the samples up and stuff like that, which you can do live, but
you know what they might do?
What they are.
It might further evolve what we call the bleeps and bloops, right? Like the Jamtronica aspects that get interwoven into their improvisation. Because I'm kind of right there. I don't know if this is what you were saying or not, but I don't think they're going to go that full blown with it again either, right? And which is good. I don't want them to, but I wouldn't mind. I do like the idea of a taste of it just being interwoven occasionally, right? Not overdone, but at the same, frequency as the bleeps and bloops, just like a little bit more, like another paint in their palette, right? Or another tool in the toolbox, just like something else that they can kind of throw in.
I think that really have it stick in, you'd have to have them literally writing songs that fall into that genre. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to get into that jam and stay there. But I mean, it could definitely happen. And
I thought the dancers was the part that ruined it for me, and I hate to be that guy, because I actually like the Broadway Trace stuff a lot of times. Like I liked Petrichor was a good example, right? Like I actually loved the dancers in the first half with Pillow Jets, but the like club Phish chicks thing going on during the rave, there's people dancing there already. Having Broadway dancers doing it just made it feel like
they should have had him in go-go boots and cages on the other side of the stage.
I mean, like it or not, I give them so much cred for pushing the boundary year after year.
Yeah, over 40 years in, and they're still taking risks and trying brand new things.
And it leaves next year open too. There isn't any pressure on next year now, because they, I feel like how they approached it. So I don't know. Gamehenge is a tough thing to come back from, and I can't think of anything that would have worked better. Doing an old song wouldn't have worked, but doing the two new things, and
my thought on it, my last thought on it is I loved it the night of, but I haven't gone back a single time since to listen to it again. Right. Whereas like Gamehenge for like the month after, like all of January last year, I listened to that set and that show maybe a dozen times. Right. And different aspects of it, like the AC/DC jam, I listened to a bunch of times. And this was like, it was fun the night of. And like, I was into it. I was like, oh, this is neat. But then it was done. I was like, okay, that is no longer, in my mind.
Right. Other stuff though, I've gone back and listened to from last year. Is this a good segue
about that?
Yes,
little
the
highlight.
secret set, I felt the secret set was brilliant, but that's kind of separate from everything. But I'm looking at the Chalk Dust Torture from Mexico, like almost they started off at such a high point, and everything else, a lot of great jams over there. We're playing catch up with that one.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I think my two favorite jams of the year were the Chalk Dust from Mexico and then the Pillow Jets from Bethel. Both, different styles of jams, but the intensity of the improvisation was just out of this world. And I feel like Mexico is a mixed bag. Some years you get a lot of great jams, and other years maybe not. But I'm excited for what's in store for this weekend. From
Yeah,
great wave of hope in
Mexico
Mexico last year. A great wave of hope in Mexico last year that is completely overshadowed by the Chalk Dust Torture. But
yeah, it was an incredible 1-2 punch with those two. You had a 20-minute bathtub jet on top of that, so just a lot of good stuff from Mexico last year.
Last year's Mexico overall was the best Mexico run they've had, and I don't even think it was close. Like, I think it was leaps and bounds beyond all the other Mexicos, and kind of like we were talking about with Gamehenge and like topping it or whatever. Not that I don't even think they think this way, and I don't know if they would even personally, like the members would, like the band would agree with this assessment. But like most fans I've talked to agree that last year's Mexico was the best Mexico, and like now that for me there is an expectation. I've never had expectations going to Mexico. That's what's nice about Mexico, right? It's kind of like the freebie oddball weekend that like you don't have any. You don't really have expectations, but you get a couple good jams. You're like, all right, that was fun. But now after what they did last year, I'm like, kind of do have expectations. I mean, not really, but I'm excited. I think they might, if they do what they did last year, it'd be amazing.
I mean, for me, 2019 had the bust outs, had the jams. No, had the jams. I think 2020 had the bust outs with Shafty, but they definitely thrown bust outs in there in the past.
The Satisfaction the one year, I thought that was fantastic because I don't think that was planned at all. I think they found themselves playing the song and were like, let's roll with it,
It's crazy how the Ocean has never reappeared.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even bust outs aside, though, I think the level of relaxed and like patience and jamming they got last year was something that in the past I wouldn't really expect until mid-tour. Right,
sure.
Like that's like Mexico. They play well, but like there's a different vibe in my mind than previous Mexico shows. And this one was kind of, maybe I attribute it. Maybe it's a coincidence, but like I attribute it to Gamehenge and how the New Year's run was. But like they just were there from the beginning. They're like, hey, we're in this, and I don't know if that's maybe that's just in my head. I might be a false attribution. Yeah.
So, all right. So let's get back to the jam. Last year's musical stuff. The Sphere. I think the Sphere has been completely overshadowed by the visuals and all. Even though there were a couple good jams at the, they were
longest disease ever.
That disease was sick.
So
the Tweezer, I think, was pretty good from what I remember. I haven't listened back to them, since then, but.
I mean, I went into the Sphere not wondering if they were even going to be able to, really extend jams with everything so computerized, and all of a sudden, like once you had a theme, it took kind of left the door open. So Monster Fuego, and the Disease.
Sand. I think the Sand was pretty good.
Yep. And Light, that Disease and Light in the same set on night 4. And I know that we're kind of focusing on jams here, but that I feel like the Sphere shows just stood head and shoulders above everything else in terms of like a Phish experience.
Yeah, it's not kind of even unfair comparison with the visuals and that screen, but they really stepped up for it. I actually am not as high on the music as I was initially. I went back and re-listened to it. they had really good moments, and I'm sure the sound in the room, from what I've heard, was phenomenal. Right, like the high def, super directional HD lossless sound, but there was like a sterileness I felt in their playing because they didn't have like the cabinets right behind them and the vibrations and having everything it like the studio sterileness that took I felt like 2 or 3 like it took until like night 3 before I felt like they've got really comfortable, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, but Mike stuck with it, didn't he? Didn't Mike get the rumble pad that he stands on, and now his stuff is off stage?
Yeah, which mix wise has been a huge benefit, right? I feel like they've had a much easier time mixing them in, and maybe it wasn't the I haven't seen anyone talk about it, right? It's not like I heard an interview with them, and maybe it was another reason that there was that sterileness to it, but it locked in though. But it doesn't matter. To Scott's point, the song choice, the creativeness, the visuals, and everything else that went into it, it's still, you didn't need to have this super in-depth crazy jamming, right? Like it was great. I don't know. I'm not
Interesting
trying to
that
be
we
the
didn't
neck
get.
guy. Maybe we shouldn't have started with New Year's. Scott got me all on this like critical path.
Interesting in the dates that have all been popping up that we haven't seen any talk about the Sphere. I guess they have whoever that guy was, Kenny Chesney, I guess, is going to play there next.
Yeah, Scott, have you heard any rumors about the Sphere? We heard from a friend of ours that they were in negotiations or talks for 8 nights last year, and they're like, they haven't signed yet, but they're in talks. And then after that, we hadn't heard anything, and now it's, we're into the year, and it's seeming less and less
the
likely.
Eagles, right?
I'm just curious if you've heard any whispers.
I don't know.
If I was them, I wouldn't go back. They did it. It's cool. They did it. That's not their space. That's not what they are.
They gotta go back, though.
I'm sure they'll go back. I just don't know if it's going to be this year.
Yeah.
We'll see.
They have to go back, Kev. I mean, they enjoyed it, right? Because they influenced the Secret Set and New Year's, right? The visualizations and the stuff. And they put all that work into it. Plus their relationship with MSG Entertainment. Like, I don't know, man. I feel like they have to. It's just, I was surprised that I haven't heard more rumors about it since the initial rumor.
If you play Halloween, if they do Halloween this year by some chance, and they do Vegas, do you think they're going to do it at the Sphere? Or do you think they'd go back to the MG Grand where they had, a traditional arena to work with?
I would think if they're going back to Vegas, it's going to be the Sphere.
Yeah, 100%.
They're done at MGM. I mean, why you have that option to play there? Why would you not? If you can do it.
That MGM place, man, for that Sci-Fi Soldiers, I felt just ucky when I left there from all the heat, and you felt the COVID dripping off you when you walked out of the place that night.
So you mentioned the Secret Set, and I thought that, that was another big highlight of the year for me. And I feel like the Secret Sets are kind of a mixed bag, like Tower Jam and the Flatbed Jam and Storage Shed and whatnot. Some are better than others, and just this one just is probably my favorite. And the visuals on top of that, it really felt like they had taken the art of the Sphere and put it onto that giant screen in Dover, which was very special. Yeah,
it was very phenomenal. That was Mondegreen was the highlight of the year for me too. And like, not that it was better or not, it was just for me personally being there with everybody was it's unlike anything else. We got to see each other there too. You were there. That was awesome.
It's way the hell back, but yeah, I don't know.
I like it back there. I went up. I gotta tell you, I went up one of the nights for one set, right up in front of the soundboard, like way the fuck up there. I did not enjoy it as much. Like, I don't judge people that's their jam, but like I like having a little bit of space to move around and like,
gotta move. I gotta be able to walk around.
I like, being up front, as you've seen from the photos I take and whatnot. But I didn't hit on early entry for any of the 4 nights, and it's freaking hot as hell and humid. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do this. And so I just stayed back, conserve my energy in from the heliograph, and I had a bunch of people that came over there each night, and started out with like 10, 15 the first night. It was like 30 or 40 by the end of the weekend. And I got a chance to see people I usually don't see. And just, if I wanted to sit down during a song, I could sit down during a song. You can't do that up front. And,
right. Or you want to wander. I mean, that's the
yeah.
thing for me is you're up front. And I turned around and there was no exit. Like, I know if I wanted to leave, if I had to leave, people would be cool about it and would like part. But like psychologically turning around and seeing no exit and just having like the wall of people around you,
it's a lot. Like,
it was too much. And meanwhile, we were at the, what do you call that? The Helio thing. You could wander anywhere, and no matter how spun you were or tired or whatever, you looked over, you're like, I know where home is. Like, I could find my way back to the crew easily, no matter where you were.
Well, considering like a good 2/3 of the population had no cell phone reception there.
Yeah, I had 0.
If you didn't have Verizon, you were done.
Yeah.
So
I have my phone worked, but I have a Galaxy S8, so it's probably just because it's so old that being up on the rail is a damn commitment. You got to be waiting in line, and then you're there the whole time. And
didn't want to do it. I didn't want to get there at like 3:00 in the afternoon or whenever, and just be out there in the sun.
You should we should start a adopt a book style thing where it's like make a wish. Because I honestly, I've seen almost 100 shows. Like, not like bragging, but like, I know that's nowhere near you, Scott. But like, I've like, for all intents and purposes, a pretty hardcore Phish fan. And if you put gun to my head and was like, tell me the process of getting on the rail, I'd have no fucking idea. I would have I wouldn't know where to go. I wouldn't know how, like, if there's a lottery or
an email.
Right. Like, I feel like with their, like, some of the like seasoned vets that like do it all the time should like take people under their wing and be like, hey, for this show, we're going to show you the way. We're going to tell you where to go and what to do and how to get in there. Cause I have no idea how that works.
We were going to, Scott, one time we were going to do a bit where we were going to film me walking up to people waiting in line and give them a little care package with like a toothbrush in it and stuff like that we're waiting.
Toothbrush, deodorant, mouthwash. Here you go.
All stuff they probably wouldn't let you bring in when you got up to go in. He'd be like, yeah. No toothbrush.
What do you guys think they're going to open up the run with tonight?
Ooh.
It's your chance to show off your skills.
I'm going to go with Buried Alive because that's a great opener.
That's always my go-to opener.
I'll go with Blaze On.
There you go. A big jam or a compact one.
Will they did
dancing on the beach
sound check.
So
right.
We'll see.
What do you think about? Have you noticed everything's right last year? What they played it like 6 times, and I think 5 of them closed a first set, or maybe all of them closed first and second sets, and it's no longer a huge jam vehicle. Are you happy with that? I'm happy with that. I like seeing it be more compact with a tight jam in it,
Depends. If the jam goes somewhere, then I'm all for it. But if the jam kind of sticks in the same pocket for 7 or 8 minutes and, you got 15 minutes, everything's right, but did it go anywhere?
Right.
So, yeah, I can see it both ways. And, those who really like the jam, licorice, if you will. And so for me, I'd rather have stuff going somewhere.
Right.
And I feel like there have been some instances where that song just kind of gets trapped in its pocket and doesn't really expand too much.
I don't need it to be a monster jam vehicle every time, but I don't particularly like it in the closing spot. I think it's for all the choices they have.
What
it
songs
ends up
do you
being
want
a
the closing
weaker
spot?
Closer.
Give me positive things. What do you want? I don't know what you don't want. What do you want?
I'm a big fan of the big rock and roll song to close the set. A Character Zero or something like that.
No,
Santos
I'm
is
a
a
fan of the
fantastic
big
set
epics
closer.
like Antelope or Hood or like
An Antelope, right?
Also,
I mean, I do like the rock closers too. I like the cover
Gun.
closers.
Life-Saving Gun crushes as a set closer.
Right.
Yeah, it does.
Set-Saving
That I
Gun.
agree with. I love that. I think that's become my favorite new song. For a while it was Oblivion, but the last couple Oblivions they've kind of stepped back on. But Life-Saving Gun is just it's been fire. Monsters is really good too, actually.
I think that they should give something like a Punch You in the Eye a try to close sets. I think that would be a great set closer. I know everybody's like, it's the opener you want, but
I mean, all of their closers I like most, not all, but most of their closers I love. That's the reason why Everything's Right and Santos feel like you're getting cheated because there's so many great closers they have to choose from. I'll even go as far as to say like Walls of the Cave I love as a first set closer.
That's good.
People like Walls of the Cave.
That's one of those songs that like it starts and you're like, and then I play through my mind and I remember everything. I'm like, oh yeah, actually look, yeah, let's go.
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah. That's
not
a
everyone
great
likes
first set closer.
You know, Tim's been very miffed at the band over Oblivion. The fact that it's, what did you call it, neutered? I think was the term.
A little bit. Scott wants me to be positive, though. Let's not talk about my negative takes anymore.
No, this is just for set close. You can go back to being negative over there. I just wanted to.
What happened to Oblivion? Oblivion had so much potential, and I think Trey was like, didn't feel it.
Still does.
It's still, yeah, I think it still has a potential. It just hasn't gotten. I think because they throw it in because they want to keep it in rotation, but they have other things that they want to jam. I guess I don't know why they haven't jammed it. I think it was the first or second one was the best one, and then
and that was in 23.
Was it?
Yeah,
I don't even know what year it is. It's just
crazy. Yeah, you had a couple of Oblivions in 23 that got jammed out, and I think it matters like what's on Trey's mind. Does he want to take this one for a ride or keep it like 8 or 9 minutes? And as long as something else is filling the void with that jam, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, exactly.
What's going through your mind had some fantastic versions last year.
The Green was really good.
I love the debut of that though with Billy, and they really gave it some juice. That was so cool that they're like, all right, we're going to debut this, and we're going to have a guest on it.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see guest singers, so like Billy took like a whole verse. You just don't see that with them debuting new songs like that. So that was very cool.
I was a big fan. Monsters. I'm a big fan of Monsters. I think that's like one of the coolest lyrics Trey's written in a while. Reminds me of like Dio or something. It's got that angst and the monsters in my head.
Yeah, it's a deep song.
Do you guys think Dave is still in Mexico?
Huh?
Do you think Dave is still in Mexico?
Probably.
Maybe so and maybe not.
I'm wondering if they would do a swap-a-roo.
Him and Trey like hanging out.
Yeah, well, Trey sat in on last weekend, and if he's around, a couple of years ago he sat in on him in Mexico.
Yeah, the first maker in like 30 years.
Yeah. Oh, Dave's not there.
Phish fans will be insufferable if he did. And I don't know why. It's cool. They're buddies. I mean, basically Trey started playing because Dave got him to come out on stage that one night.
He had a family emergency. Shit.
Oh,
sorry, guys. I'm disconnected. I don't know these things. I got to rely on Kevin.
What songs did they do? What songs did Trey sit in with?
This past weekend?
Yeah.
Ophelia, Every Day, and Three Little Birds. And I remember the Richmond show, 2/28/2001. So it was Trey did his first tour with the Horns. So this is like really where Tab became Tab, because the 99 shows were just a trio. And he brought Dave Matthews out on stage, and at that time, like I think every day just come out. I think Three Little Birds, and then they did I Want to Take You Higher. I think the show's
song?
on re-listen. It's just what's that?
The Creed song?
No, Sly and the Family Stone.
Why? I want to take you higher. With the horns.
Hearing that with the horns is so good. So that show's on re-listen, and also they had the I think the extended Landlady. So they brought Landlady back, and just like this huge intro, and then also it's like boom, there it is. It's great. So
if
you're watching out there, go check out that show. It's good.
Wasn't Natalie Cressman's dad in Trey's band?
Yes.
At one time. You know, I saw Three Little Birds with Dave Matthews. He came out in when was 95, 30 years ago at Virginia Beach, or not Virginia Beach, what was it called? Nissan Pavilion. And did Three Little Birds for the encore with Dave, and who's the guy who died when the horn from Dave Matthews band?
Leroy
Moore.
Isn't
there anymore.
Leroy.
Leroy. Did he die or did he get kicked out? One of them got kicked out.
I think
he
other guy
passed
got
away.
in trouble.
Boyd Tinsley is no longer with the band.
Yeah.
Okay. Boyd Tinsley's the one who, right. But we won't talk about that.
No.
Leroy.
They have Jeff Coffin now, but it's sad with Leroy being gone.
All right. Leroy did the multiple jam with him at Deer Creek that one year too, where they were all playing. Trey had like 3 guitars and Mike had 3 basses and something like that.
Who? What are you talking about?
So that show is every day, Three Little Birds, whatever gets you through the night. The encore was I Want to Take You Higher.
Nice. Whatever gets you through the night. That's a great. I didn't realize Trey did that. That's a good one for him, especially at that period when he was partying.
That was the only time they ever did that.
One night. Wow, interesting.
So great John Lennon song.
What was the year that Trey did New Year's with the Black Crowes?
2005, maybe.
Okay.
You were there, right, Tim?
Yeah, I was at those 4 or 5 years. I don't have like a clean timeline of.
Yeah, it's kind of murky.
I don't think anybody does. There were some rough years.
Yeah,
I must say. I love that Trey band, though. I wish like they would go back and do like a live Phish thing, but with some Trey band shows from 2001 when they had like the 30-minute Mr. Completely.
Yeah, like when they lost half the band to COVID a couple of years ago, they started jamming stuff out on the end of that tour.
Oh yeah, that was crazy.
25 minute moment dances and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was like one at a time too, right? Like it was, if I remember correctly, it was like each, or did it all happen at the same show? I remember the announcements. I was like,
the horns went, and then Russ went. Yeah, and all of a sudden it was Trey, Desron,
and Phish,
John
right?
Fishman, and Ray Pachkowski. That was it.
Yeah, those were good shows.
Yeah, I caught one in Radio City, and the next night, James Casey came out for the encore, which was pretty special.
Oh yeah.
Do we get Trey with horns again? Seems like the last, he's been doing more of the quartet.
Yeah, the last show was Trey with horns, Asbury Park.
Oh, right. But there hasn't been like a tour. I mean, in a while. James Casey was alive the last.
Yeah, I think that's part of it with James Casey passing away. I think they'll definitely do a tour again. They had spot festival sets or whatever with the horns. So I don't think that's done at all.
Right. They should have played that one out west that T went to, that ZZ Top played before him, but the wind, they canceled it. Ocean Breeze Festival or something they were supposed to play.
Yeah.
Were you at Park City on Friday?
I wasn't. I know they did 11/26/97, which is my first show, but I didn't make it down there. Reprise is fantastic, so gotta check them out. They're doing a lot of Northeast shows the next couple months. They're
sweet.
really talented guys. Good dudes too.
Adrian from The Breakfast and Kung Fu and various. He played with Twiddle. Wasn't Adrian in Twiddle for a little bit at the end?
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yep,
Just for a little bit.
yep,
Papadicio's done. What do you make all these bands on hiatus? First it was Twiddle. Last year was Dopapod. This year is Papadicio.
I think it's a hard life as like a touring musician. And unless you really hit it off and make a lot of money, it's hard. And heaven forbid you have a family on top of that, trying to make it all work out. I have a 9-to-5 job. I've been working the same place for over 20 years. I that structure, but to have spend like your whole year on the road, either touring or making music or whatever. I mean, that's your job. It's a lot.
It's a slog.
Yeah.
It's also emotional and like, from what I've heard, like it's like being in a relationship, being in a band, right? Like there's a lot of personalities, there's a lot of ups and downs, and when things are going great, it's easier, right? But when you hit hard times or whatever, it's fragile. Like it's not a guaranteed thing. Like you have like Scott, me too, right? I have a 9-to-5. That's not fragile, right? Like that's professional and everything, but band's not just like doing a job. Like there's emotions involved, there's personalities and egos and and health.
And you do
right?
have to break. Like
those
Warren
ones that you
Haynes.
mentioned, Kev, had to do with health issues or mental health or addictions, or you know what I mean? Like there were other factors outside of them just not wanting to tour anymore.
Oh, Twiddle. Right.
Or yeah, maybe not half, 1/3 of, but
right. I get what you're saying. It's just like Warren Haynes. He sells 500 seat places, but Warren Haynes, so people show up for Government Mule or Warren Haynes Band or whatever it is. But if he was not someone who had been in the Allman Brothers, not someone who had played with Phil Lesh and the Dead and all that, I don't know if he'd be playing any more than a 250 place.
I think Government Mule has a big enough fan base and following that, like with the rest of the band, it's not just Warren. So I can see them easily doing like 1,000-seat places with ease. And they've done amphitheaters as well for like Dark Side of the Mule, and so
and they're not like bars. Like a lot of these other bands, they're not playing like big theaters and shit. They're playing like these like small. I don't want to like shit on any of the bands, but like
no, that's where you are. If you can get 200 people to show up for you, more power to you. That's 200 more than would show up to see me. So.
Yeah.
Did you catch, Scott, any of the Government Mule from New Year's? The first set, the last night on New Year's Eve, was just a trio. They didn't have.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was so good. It just took me back to the late 90s, and
I haven't listened to it, but I'm pretty sure it's on Nugs, so I'll go check it out.
Yeah, it's definitely. And then eventually they turn back into a 4-piece, but I would love to see them go back out as a trio.
What do you mean the ball that I dropped, Dave? What the fuck are you talking about? I didn't drop no ball.
Oh,
did you tell everybody that I dropped the ball?
You didn't answer the email, so we couldn't.
No, I didn't get a fucking email. And let me set the fucking record straight. I asked specifically, did I need to do anything for this fucking thing? And you guys said, no, man, we got it. I said, cool. I got 2 freaking babies. I'm tired of shit. I work 60 hours a week. I'm going the fuck to sleep. You guys got this. I wake up and like, oh, we don't have it. We can't do anything without you. We need you.
I know, we did it.
You said we are useless without you, Wook. How dare you go to sleep?
So I'm just looking at the chat. I see there have been a couple of questions about Taper's Choice.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't had a chance to see them yet, but I did check out their show from Brooklyn Bowl, and those guys are super talented. Kind of like a little super band there with guys from different bands joining up, and my heart goes out to them for having to be back in California for after the Brooklyn Bowl show, and that they're going to come back out east. But would love to get a chance to see them live. Good dudes.
Well, what do you make of Rob joining Neighbor? I think that do you think that that's going to alter Neighbor sound? Do you think we're going into Neighbor 2.0?
So for those of you that don't know, I see a bunch of Neighbor shows, and their guitar player Lyle Brewer is leaving the band at the end of next month, and Rob Campa from Dopapod is taking over. Don't know a lot about Dopapod, but I did check out his sound. And then yesterday he posted something where played, I think, I Saw You, which has a really detailed guitar riff, and he put it on Instagram. And so sounds very similar to Lyle, and guitar sound, and obviously super talented. And so I'm going to be at the show at the Cabot at the end of February, and I also pulled the trigger for March 6th up at Killington, which is going to be the first show with Rob. And it's bittersweet when you're friends there in the band and someone's leaving. But I'm not gonna name names or bands, but you've had some stuff in the past where somebody leaving the band has not necessarily been handled in the best and cleanest manner. And in this case, they had the joint release with Neighbor and Lyle and Rob all together, and everyone's happy for each other. And on Facebook, the three guys and Neighbor were all posting photos of them with Lyle, and just, they're so happy to be with each other. And, it's not an easy decision to just pick up and leave like that. But, I'm excited to see where the band goes. I'm glad that they're still playing. And I think with Rob joining, you're going to get a different feel. Like Lyle doesn't sing a lot. Rob's going to be singing songs, and I'm not sure if they'll have Dopapod songs showing up, or if there's going to be new songs or what. But it definitely gives a different perspective to everything. And change is never easy, but I'm looking forward to what's down the line.
Right, fascinating to me, the guitar player coming in, because you do learn a whole catalog and walk in, and then it's a question of how much of me shows up playing these songs. You can learn a Garcia, like Mayer can nail Estimated from 77 on his guitar and sound just like Garcia, but I'm figuring Rob will take and absorb this, and then we're going to hear it through the filter of his musical vision.
I saw a video, Kev, of Mayer the other day from way back when, like way before Dead and Company, just riffing, and he sounded like Jerry. And it's weird. I never realized that. You probably know this already, but I always figured he morphed into a Jerry-esque player and maybe it definitely had an influence, right? But he had that influence, and I'm not saying he was sounded as good as Jerry or compared or anything. I'm just saying the
you can hear
the styling. He had that. He sounded more of like a Jerry than like a Clapton, right? The way he was playing and stuff. And it was fascinating to hear this way back. It was probably a 15, 20-year-old video of him just riffing. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Maybe, it's probably it's the chicken or the egg, right? It's the reason he got called up, right? Is because he was already a huge influence. But back then I always thought he was such a pop star,
he was a pop star.
Yeah, I never appreciated how good of a musician he was, and then all of a sudden I'm seeing all these old videos of him just ripping and noodling and doing all this crazy shit. Yeah,
it's funny, John.
We're all over the place.
What is up with Boston and Berkeley Music College? Guys from Dopapod, John Mayer, Nikki Gillespie, the drummer with Nth Power, all these people all came through there.
Lyle too. Lyle's an assistant professor there. So Berkeley School of Music is just the hotbed for sure.
I thought you were talking about the band. You're talking about Berkeley?
Yeah.
That's All right, but Kev, that's like saying, what's up with MIT? All these physicists and engineers and
Well, I mean, there's a lot of music schools all over the country.
no, but like Berkeley is like Juilliard and Berkeley are probably like the two biggest and best conservatories in the country. Like it's I mean, there's others, but like it's a top 5
but we get a bunch
program
of
in the
jam
world.
band
Like it's
people.
one of the
But that's-
best.
My thing is, you get all these jam band people coming out of there. Like, what are they teaching them there? You should go into the jam band.
You got a lot of
you
non-jam band
big.
musicians as well, Kev.
I was gonna say there's a lot of just awesome musicians, a lot of opera singers, a lot of string players.
But yes, there are jam band musicians that come out of there. Just there are other musicians too.
They usually start as jazz musicians and then realize there's this like rampant fan base that's gonna follow them if they just call it, jamming instead of jazz.
Or no, you have to get someone else to call you a jam band, and then you're in like Soul Live. They never called themselves a jam band, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh, they're a jam band, so you get all these hippies showing up, or MMW or something. I don't think Medeski would ever say he was in a jam band.
It's coming full circle though. I have a buddy who's in a band that I think's a jam band, and they keep every time I say that, like, we're not a jam band. Like there's like almost like not a shame, but they're like, psychedelic improvisation or whatever. It's like you're a jam band.
Own it. Nothing wrong with it. I always find that younger bands are like, well, we're not a jam band. And then when people get older, they're like, hey, whatever. If you're going to buy a ticket and buy a T-shirt, come on. We're
like Gen Z's, they don't want to be like the old people with their jam bands.
With their jam band stuff.
We've really gone type 2 on this. This thing
that's
tonight.
a lot for you. It's good.
This is what we do.
I got a funny thing I wanted to tell you, Kev. It reminded me of you. I was getting my daughter ready for bed right before this, and she was like, "Damn, Dad, you got a lot of gray hair." And I was trying to like joke with her. I was like, "Yeah, you did that to me." And she looked at me straight face, and she's like, "No, I think you got old." I was like, "Oh shit." She wasn't trying to be mean, but just like the straight face. She's like, "No, you're getting old." I was like, "Oh man, it cuts so deep."
I guess you guys always go type 2. I just haven't been on here as much, so
we do.
Thanks, Mike Scrubin.
We do.
Yeah.
So, have you seen any of the? You've seen the spring tour dates? Interesting little 4-city run. Have you seen any of this proposed summer tour stuff that they're saying, like Darien playing in Ohio, but no Dicks? It's got Folsom listed, but no Dicks and no festival, which I guess we knew they would have already announced that, but.
I mean, outside of like what's on Fantasy Tour, your guess is as good as mine.
Right.
So
it's interesting though. Austin, they haven't played Texas since when? 2019.
Those are the same dates, though. I don't know if they're the exact same dates, but they're the same venues that we saw a couple of weeks ago pop up
Salt
in
Lake
PT.
City. I found
I
Salt Lake
think
City.
Folsom is probably going to happen 4th of July weekend.
I think that is pretty
and,
certain at this point.
So and then Dick's, I don't think that's happening. They're not going to do Colorado twice this summer.
When did they announce Mondegreen last year? It was
January, first week in January.
Did they?
Yeah. And we knew about it before that.
No, we didn't. No, that was the one that we didn't have a lot of lead up.
Mondegreen was a save the date. So that came out before January. It was like in October or something of 2023.
And then January, they came out and announced all the stuff.
Oh, right. But the save the date was the one that we didn't know. There was one, maybe I'm mixing it up, but there was one where it was an anomaly because all the other dates we knew like months beforehand through rumors and shit. But yeah, it was Mondegreen because Dover, nobody. Before the save the date, there was no whispers of it anywhere.
They kept it under their
depends who you were listening to. Sometimes there are whispers. You just listen to the right people, man.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
This is true. This is true. But Darien, going back to Darien, playing a bunch of indoor too. Nationwide Arena in Ohio.
They're hitting a lot of spots in the country that don't get as much of them. You know what I mean? Like they're hitting the Midwest. They're doing the West Coast for the spring. They're hitting Texas and Southeast a little bit.
Right,
I think
allegedly. The new spot in Richmond that's owned by Red Light Management. They're going to play
3-night run, I guess.
No, it's going to be 2, is what I'm hearing now. On the Tuesday and Wednesday, because the place only seats 7,500, so you can't play it on a weekend.
That's the best, dude. That's the way to go. Go down to like Virginia or where they did. Yeah, they was Portsmouth a couple years ago.
Well, that might be your week, Tim. That might be
Tuesday, Wednesday, Virginia show. That was phenomenal.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Virginia, and then they say the weekend's going to be North Charleston.
Yeah.
That's your run, man. Go see the family. Drop the kids off.
My brother and I have only visited family in the last 15 years around Phish tour.
That's the spirit, Tim. Nice job.
The way to do it. The way to do it.
I mean, I live outside Philly and he lives in Charleston, so between the two of us, it's almost every year.
Something, right? The man, you get the man this year. I guess I'll go to that. I like the man.
The man's nice.
Man's
cool. Lawn sucks, but if you're in the pavilion, it's phenomenal.
But the lot scene is so fun. It opens early. It kind of just is full of one, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll probably hit the man and Charleston. If these dates are right.
If they're right.
Yeah.
I might not hit any of them. I'm a big fan of Couch Tour the older I get. To have to physically go somewhere. And...
Oh, wait. T, hold on, man.
Uh-oh.
I got to change the... Hey.
What's up?
Oh.
Scott? Hey.
Oh.
How you
decided
doing?
to join us right at the end.
I know. Right at the end. See, last time I left early last week, and this time I came late. So I still made it to class, though. That's all I'm at.
You always find the most California shot. Oh, wow.
All right. So what do you think they're opening with tonight?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I hope something beachy. I should open with a song I heard the ocean sing, or
nice.
Yeah, that's what I'll say something like that.
What was your favorite jam from last year?
Yeah, right.
Putting you on the spot. You show up late, you get hazed a little bit. What was your favorite jam of the year last year?
Jam of the year last year. Shit.
It's like I'm never going to show up late again.
That's right. I know. Without my notes.
Here.
Jam of the year last year.
Bully.
God, I'm trying to think what comes to mind, because there was, I would actually. There's a few, but the one that keeps popping in my head was it Kill Devil Falls from Dick's. There was a couple actually from Dick's too that hit the spot pretty well. And then I'm gonna go with Kill Devil Falls from Dick's. That was one of my favorite jams of last year.
And now the $64,000 question, since you missed the start of this. What did you think of the New Year's gag?
I liked it. I thought it was fun. I will say it was different, which always with them, and it was something unexpected, which always with them, and it was a good way to follow up, right? Like the past couple of years have been so nostalgic and throwing it back. I felt like this felt like a push forward and something new and different and fun in that arena. So it was, watching it, I think it would have been more fun being there, as always, like, of course, but I think being in the moment and having that happen and dancing to that and having the giant cult-like figure rising up and everything would have been very cool to see in person. So,
all right, I'm done taking over your show, man.
No, that was awesome. I got one for you, which was the whole reason I came on, was to ask you, what did you think of that Taper's Choice Relic show?
I enjoyed it, man. I hadn't had a chance to listen to too much Taper's Choice before. And I got a full dose and then some. I think the first set outside of Hook was pretty much all Taper's Choice, and then they had various songs mixed in the second and third set.
Yeah.
Second set, just a really long second set. So, it's hard to get a real grasp when you're hearing a band for the first time in terms of songs, but in terms of the talent on that stage, the four of them. Really, really special, and I know they're a West Coast band at this point, but I'm hoping that they give the Northeast a little more love, and would love to actually go check them out.
Good, you're a fan now. So yes, definitely. I think we're trying to reschedule that tour that kind of got canceled and everything. So once those dates are reannounced, hopefully I'll see you at a show once those get announced.
Yeah, I'd like that.
That'd be awesome.
Have you heard? Are they planning to rebook them?
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying to not necessarily rebook the same venues and the same, but do the same kind of. It's in progress, so they're working on it to see what we can.
I like that Milk Boy though. As long as they play in Philly, it'll be good. But that's a cool little bar or venue.
All the little bars that were on there I heard are really cool. So I think in part they're trying to get as close to, if not do those same venues again. Maybe even hopefully add a couple shows since it's not going to be what it was. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm glad to hear, Scott, that you're a fan, and I look forward to seeing you at one of the shows for sure.
Absolutely. Look forward to seeing you too, man.
Nice.
Hey, before we wrap up, or since we're approaching the end, I want to get some housekeeping out real quick because we forgot to do it at the top. But normal show protocol is on. We are doing set break hangs each night of the Mexico run for members. So if you are not a member, now's an excellent time to join. It's like $2 or something, and come hang out and do the set break hang. Also, 15 minutes after encore each night, we will be doing our reviews. These are normal times, right? This is Eastern.
Yeah, it's East Coast. Yeah, it's on the Gulf of America. The resorts.
I'm already planning ahead. Wait, it's not in South America. What the?
No, Gulf of America.
The Gulf of America, dude. The Gulf of America.
Even Google Maps. Google Maps. If like you're from the United States, they're now saying it's Gulf of America. They have like Gulf of Mexico for the rest of the world and Gulf of America for us.
So ridiculous.
Hey, thanks, Mike. That's awesome. Yeah, so we'll be here 15 minutes after encore. No, you know what it is? I'm already looking ahead to spring tour, and I'm thinking about those 3 a.m. after shows.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
God bless you guys, man. I can't even do the setlist those nights. I got someone who is kind of like in that third shift mentality and is up every night doing that. And I'm like, I can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm too
I'll tell you, the
shit.
first night's not bad, but by the end of the tour, you're fried. You're just like, I don't have anything left in the tank.
3 o'clock, whether I'm doing a show or not, it wrecks me. So yeah.
It definitely requires a nap at some point during the day. For me, I take a nap in the afternoon when I know I have to be up till 3. So
well,
I'm kind of low-key hoping T takes my spot for the majority of them. By the way, Kev, I call dibs. If T's doing it, you're not backing out. I'm calling dibs.
It's those like Tuesday night shows, Wednesday night shows that are a real bitch. Those middle.
Yeah, the weekend's not bad.
Yeah. But I can do them. I mean, for the ones I'm not going to, I can cover for you, Tim.
Thank you guys for having me on tonight. This was a treat. And,
yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Especially now I have my camera working so I can be like a normal person.
It's always fun having you on, Scott. I'm bummed I missed most of the show, but I'm glad I got to at least drop in and say what's up and see you.
Yeah, we'll do it again like after Mexico for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Hope you guys enjoy the shows tonight. Hope it's a great run. I'm looking forward to. It's always so much fun when there's Phish in the air and we're ready to listen to some
Absolutely.
Phish. I'm excited.
Our lives are better with it for sure.
For sure.
We'll see you guys next time. Thanks, everyone.